Welcome to the next episode of the Understanding Crypto series by Thomas Plunkett. This week, we're going to take a look at another crypto law topic. In this particular case, we're going to talk about non-fungible tokens, and specifically, we're going to dive into the terms and conditions for non-fungible tokens. And so we're going to start with the most popular non-fungible token platform, the very first one. In fact, the very first successful application on Ethereum. We're going to talk about Cryptokitties, where you can collect and breed your forever friends. And these are some great looking kitties here. You can buy and sell the cats because each cat is a non-fungible token. You can create a collection. You can earn rewards. You can breed your cats and create new generations. They actually have a rarity specification for traits. Some traits are common, uncommon, rare, and so on. There are limited edition cats. You can even play games in the Kittyverse. So this is an awesome NFT approach, and it was very popular when it came out. And it's remained popular over time and has really led to a lot of the boom in the NFT space that we're seeing these days. But let's take a look. Obviously, like most of these sites, it's got a catalog of various cats you can take a look at. You can, look at cats that are available out there. You've got guides for participating, little section on gas and fees, because this is on Ethereum, and so you got to pay fees for your transactions. It's got a marketplace for buying cats. And it's got more information, blog, events, and so on. The people who created CryptoKitties went on to create other NFT platforms like NFT Top Shop and so on, because this is Dapper Labs, which is a really great organization for building NFTs. They helped write the NFT standards for Ethereum. But let's go take a look at their terms and conditions. And these terms and conditions were last updated in November of 2018. So let's read through what it says for their terms of use. CryptoKitties is a distributed application that runs on the Ethereum network using smart contracts, blah, 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 to own, transfer, and breed these unique digital cats, which can then be visualized on a website that the user can interact with. All right, so let's read through here. Dapper Labs is making the app available to you. Before you use the app, the smart contract of the site, you need to agree to these terms of use. So if you don't agree to these terms of use, you can't really use your NFTs. So let's read what it says. Please read these terms carefully in all caps before using the app, the smart contracts of the site. These terms govern your use of the app, the smart contracts on the site, unless we have an executed separate written agreement with you for that purpose. And notice that they're not saying the smart contract constitutes a separate written agreement, although arguably you could argue that the smart contract itself is a written agreement. We're only willing to make the app, the smart contracts, and the site available to you if you accept all these terms. By using the app, the smart contracts, the site, or any part of them, or by clicking I accept below, indicating your acceptance, you are confirming you understand and agree to be bound by all these terms. If you're accepting the terms on behalf of a company, you have the authority to accept the terms on behalf of that entity. If you don't have the authority or you don't accept all the terms, then they're unwilling to make these things available to you. And if you don't agree to the terms, you don't get to use the app, the smart contracts of the site. Okay. All right. So putting aside the fact that, the fact that the smart contract technically could be argued to be a written agreement, they're basically saying, hey, if you don't accept these terms, they're not willing to participate with you. So let's read through here what it says. Number one, the app. To most easily use the app, you must first install a web browser such as Chrome, which is actually what I'm using right now, and have an electronic wallet compatible with NFTs on Ethereum, such as MetaMask, which is actually what I have on my extension on this Chrome browser. MetaMask and other electronic wallets allows you to purchase either directly or through from an exchange or from other various third-party sites, store and engage in transactions using Ethereum. If you're not able to engage in any transactions on the app, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Transactions that take place on the map are managed and confirmed via the Ethereum blockchain. You understand your Ethereum public address will be made publicly visible whenever you engage in a transaction on the app. Now, this is this is a basic part of Ethereum technology, so they don't actually have to put this in the terms and conditions, but it can't hurt to put it in there as a reminder to someone, hey, you're making your address visible when you do a transaction. They say we neither own nor control MetaMask, Coinbase, Google Chrome, the Ethereum network, or any other third-party site that you may access or use for the purpose of enabling you to use the various features of the app. I think most people expect that, so that's pretty straightforward. They're not liable for the acts or emissions of any such third parties, nor are we liable for any damage you may suffer as a result of your transactions or any other interactions with any such third parties. That kind of makes sense. Although, think about this. If they're telling you you should go to Coinbase and you should be using Google Chrome and stuff, you would think that, if they make a mistake, that then, goes along with a mistake that one of those third parties made, there might be something there. But presumably, yeah, makes sense to put this in here. All right, let's look at D. You must provide accurate and complete registration information when you create an account for the app. By creating an account, you agree to provide accurate, current, and complete account information about yourself and to maintain and promptly update as necessary your account information. You are responsible for the security of your account and your MetaMask wallet. If you become aware of any unauthorized use of your password or your account, you agree to notify us immediately at Meow Cryptokitties Co. All right, that's pretty straightforward. Number 2, the kitties. We have utilized smart contracts to develop our initial generation of CryptoKitties. They're going to release some. All right, that's all about what they're doing. As users breed their CryptoKitties, there will be new and unforeseen generations. Various traits may be expressed. The smart contracts have total control over the pseudo-random elements, so they're not going to manipulate or influence it. Okay, fine. How you breed your CryptoKitties is entirely up to you. You can breed them with one another. You can offer to breed with others. They have no fixed genders. In any breeding transaction, you can choose which cats will be the dad and the mom. Okay. Ownership license restrictions. Following capitalist terms, art means any art, design, or drawings may be associated with CryptoKitty. Extensions means third-party designs. Own means respect to a CryptoKitty that you have purchased, otherwise rightfully acquired from a legitimate source, where proof of purchase is recorded on the relevant blockchain. So that's basically it. You have purchased it when the purchase is on the Ethereum blockchain. Purchase kitty means a kitty you own. Third-party IP means any third-party patent rights, copyrights, trademarks, and so on. Ownership, you own the NFT. All right, so let's see what they're saying here. Each CryptoKitty is an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain. When you purchase a CryptoKitty, you own the underlying NFT completely. This means you have the right to trade your NFT, sell it, or give it away. Ownership of the NFT is mediated entirely by the smart contract in the Ethereum network. At no point will we seize, freeze, or otherwise modify the ownership of any CryptoKitty. All right, so that's really important to put in there. They're saying you own the NFT. Now, what you get along with that ownership of the NFT is an open question. So let's read through what they say next. They say Dapper owns the app. Okay. You acknowledge and agree that Dapper owns all legal right, title, and interest in and to all other elements of the app and all IP rights. Okay. Look and feel, organization. You acknowledge Dapper materials are protected by copyright, trade dress, patent, and trademark laws. Copyrighted property of Dapper, blah, blah, blah. Your use of the app does not grant you any ownership or other rights respect any content code, data, or other Dapper materials. Okay. For the sake of clarity, you understand and agree that your purchase of CryptoKitty, whether via the app or otherwise, does not give you any rights or licenses in or to the Dapper materials, including without limitation our copyright in and to the associated art. So that's actually a really interesting question here that we're going to come back to about this part about the art, other than those expressly contained in these terms. You don't have the right to reproduce, distribute, or otherwise commercialize any elements of the Dapper materials, including without limitation any art, without our prior written consent in each case, which consent we may withhold in our sole and absolute discretion. All right, let's focus exactly in on that term right there. Except as otherwise provided elsewhere, you don't have any right to reproduce or commercialize any elements, including any art. So you can't commercialize your picture of your NFT unless it's specified somewhere else in these terms. So we'll look elsewhere to see if it says you can actually commercialize your NFT or not. C, you will not apply for, register, or otherwise use or attempt to use any Dapper trademarks or service marks. Okay. All right, so let's look at the license to the art, because that's the part right here that links here. Subject to your continued compliance with these terms, Dapper grants you a worldwide, non-exclusive, non-transferable royalty-free license to use, copy, and display the art for your purchased kitties. Okay, so here's where we're allowed to display the art for our purchased kitties. Now, it's non-exclusive, which means it's non-transferable and it's royalty-free. So royalty-free means they're not going to charge us any money for showing off my picture of my NFT that I bought. And I can use it, I can copy it, and you to show it on your webpage, you have to make a copy essentially. And I can display it to others. Now I can't transfer it to anyone else, but presumably if I transfer the NFT, the license goes with the NFT, and then that person can then sell it, show it off, and so forth. Now notice this non-exclusive part. That's kind of interesting. Because in theory, if you own the NFT, and it's unique, why aren't you getting an exclusive license? That's really interesting that they put that there. And now here we go. Along with any extensions you choose to create or use for the following purposes: personal non-commercial use. So I can use it on my own personal non-commercial use. I can put it as part of a marketplace for its purchase and sale of my purchased kitty. Providing the marketplace cryptographically verifies the kitty the owner has the right to display the art, to ensure only the actual owner can display the art. So I can put it for sale on an NFT site, whether it's Dapper Labs' own site or a different site, as part of a marketplace. And so long as that marketplace checks to verify that I have the right to display that art, then that's okay. Of course, that brings up the question is how they're going to verify that I have the right to display that art. And then as part of a third-party website or application that permits the inclusion, involvement, or participation of your purchased kitty. So let's take a look at what we're saying here. I can use the artwork as part of a third-party website or application permits the inclusion, involvement, participation of my purchased kitty, provided that the website application cryptographically verifies each kitty owner's rights to display the art for their purchased kitty to ensure that only the actual owner can display the art. And again, that raises the question as to how they're going to do that cryptographically. And provided the art is no longer visible once the owner of the purchased kitty leaves the website application. Okay. So that's your usage of the license to the art. Now we have a second section. This part here is non-commercial use essentially, or as part of a marketplace or as part of a third-party website. In each case, if you're in the marketplace, a third-party website, you have to cryptographically prove you have the right to use that artwork. All right, let's take a look at commercial use. Subject to your continued compliance with terms, Dapper grants you a limited worldwide, non-exclusive, non-transferable license to use, copy, and display the art for your purchased kitty for the purpose of commercializing your own merchandise that includes, contains, or consists of the art for your purchased kitty. So I can make copies of my kitty and I can make money off of it, provided that such commercial use does not result in you earning more than $100,000 in gross revenue each year. So let's think about this. Is this $100,000 per NFT or $100,000 for all your NFTs? So let's read through what it says. For the sake of clarity, nothing in this section will be deemed to restrict you from owning or operating a marketplace that permits the use and sale of CryptoKitties. So this doesn't affect running a marketplace. Or it doesn't prevent you from having a third-party website that has multiple CryptoKitties in it. And I can earn revenue from those, even when the revenue for those is in excess of 100,000. But it looks like putting aside those two, the marketplace and the third-party site that permits other people's CryptoKitties, for your own personal CryptoKitties, the maximum amount of money you can make through commercial use is $100,000. So if you create a best-selling movie or write a best-selling book, you're out of luck. All right, let's take a look at restrictions. You agree, you may not, or permit any third party to do or attempt to do any of the following without Dapper's permission: modify the art in the kitty, use the art to advertise or sell third-party products or services, use the art for your purchased kitty in connection with images, videos, or other media that depicts violence, cruelty, hatred, and intolerance, and all sorts of hate speech and stuff like that. Use the art for your purchased kitty in movies, video, or other forms of media, except to the limited extent that such use is permitted in these terms or solely for your personal non-commercial use. So basically this means you can have a maximum revenue of 100,000 for those movies or videos. 5, sell distributed for commercial gain or otherwise commercialized merchant, unless your movie falls into that third-party platform for kiddies. You can possibly get away with that. Sell, distribute for commercial gain, or otherwise commercialized merchandise that includes, contains, or consists of the art of your purchased kitty, except as shown in those terms. All right, so we already saw the terms. Yeah, you can't trademark, copyright, or otherwise acquire additional IP rights in the art for your purchased kitty. All right, so let's talk about this one for a minute. Since you can't copyright the kitty, that means or acquire other IP rights for that kitty, that means all the IP rights for your kitty are still with Dapper Labs. They did not transfer when the NFT transferred. Dapper has the copyright. Now, what they're doing is they're giving you a license to use that artwork, but they're not giving you the copyright. They're retaining the copyright. All right, so let's go back and look at that a little further. So we were just talking about the copyright. Yeah, and you can't use the art for your purchase kitty for some third party's commercial benefit. To the extent that art associated with purchase kitty contains third party IP, licensed IP from a celebrity, athlete, or other public figure, probably the only way that could happen is if Dapper put it in there. You understand and agree that you don't have the right to use such third party IP except as subject to the license and restrictions already put in there. And you don't have the commercial use license in 3C2 above, which is this. So that goes away if Dapper Lab put the third-party IP in there. And so, for example, if let's say Dapper Lab made an agreement with Michael Jordan to have a Michael Jordan kitty, and you got it, you wouldn't be able to use it to raise income for yourself. All right, so let's read through here. Depending on the nature of the license granted from the owner of third-party IP, there may be additional restrictions. To the extent that they inform you of such additional restrictions, you're responsible for complying with all such restrictions from the date you receive the notice. And if you fail to do so, that's a breach of the license. All right, and they mentioned the restrictions in this section will survive the expiration or termination of these terms, which is a really interesting concept. The idea that these restrictions here survive the end of the agreement. Other terms of the license granted section 3C above applies only extent that you own the purchase kitty. Okay, that makes sense. If you, anytime you sell, trade, donate, or give it away, your license expires because obviously whoever receives it now has a license to do these things. If you exceed the $100,000 limitation annual gross revenue, you will be in breach of these terms and must send an email to Dapper at legaldapperlabs.com within 45 days with commercial use, requesting entering into a broader licensing agreement or obtaining an exemption. If you exceed the scope without entering into a broader license agreement, you acknowledge you're in breach of the terms, and Dapper might terminate the lease license, and you might be responsible to reimburse Dapper for any costs and expenses incurred by Dapper to enforce these terms against you. Feedback, you can give feedback on terms, obligations. You agree you're responsible for your own conduct while accessing or using the app. You agree to only use the app for purposes that are legal and proper and in accordance with applicable laws and regulations and the terms. Miscellaneous stuff about, not interfering with other people, not reverse engineering the app, not impacting the app. I'm not going to go through all these things. Most of these are pretty straightforward. If we delete your CryptoKitties images and descriptions from the app or the site, such deletion will not affect your ownership right in any NFTs that you already own. Okay. Okay. But that raises a really interesting question about what your rights are to the artwork. Obviously, we saw the license, and because they might delete the artwork from the app or the site, if you're buying one of these NFTs, you obviously want to download the artwork so you have a backup in case at some point they deleted the artwork from the site or the app and you can no longer get it there. Fees and payment if you like to purchase, trade, or breed CryptoKitties on the app. Financial transactions are conducted through Ethereum. Pretty straightforward, most of this. In addition to the gas fee, each time you utilize the CryptoKitties marketplace smart contract to conduct a transaction with another user, you're giving them a commission of 3.75% of the total value of the transaction. So basically, Dapper Labs is going to continue to collect fees every time you exchange a CryptoKitties with someone else. Now, if you do the interaction outside their marketplace, they don't collect a commission. You'll be solely responsible to pay for any sales tax, use tax, value added, and other taxes, duties, and assessments now or hereinafter claimed or imposed by any government authority. By saying you're solely responsible, this is basically saying, hey, look, Dapper Labs isn't planning on collecting sales tax. At some point in the future, that might change, and they'll have to collect those sales taxes and assessments and so forth. But right now, they're claiming, they're not planning to do it. Except for income taxes levied on Dapper, you're going to pay or reimburse us for all taxes that they get levied on. And blah, blah, blah. You confirm you're not a resident of Canada, nor are you registered for goods and service taxes in Canada. Interesting. They have some issues with Canada, apparently. Termination. You can terminate these terms at any time by canceling your account on the app, discontinue your access to and use of the app. You won't receive any refunds. You cancel account or otherwise terminate the terms. You agree that Dapper can terminate the terms at any time, and they don't have to give you prior notice, and they're not liable to you if they do it. Pretty straightforward for most of this stuff. Your use of the app is at your own risk, and the app is provided as is and as available without any warranties of any kind, to the fullest extent permissible under the law. And they make no warranties, and they disclaim all implied warranties, and they don't want to be responsible for anything. You accept their security risks of providing information and dealing online over the internet. They don't want to have any liability or responsibility for any breach of security unless it's due to their gross negligence, and hopefully they don't have any of that. And they're not going to be responsible or liable for any losses you incur as a result of your use of the Ethereum network or the MetaMask electronic wallet. User error, forgotten passwords, server failure, data loss, corrupted wallet files, and so on, or being hacked or whatever. CryptoKitties are intangible digital assets that exist only by virtue of the ownership record maintained in the Ethereum network. All smart contracts are conducted on the decentralized ledger within the Ethereum. They have no control over and make no guarantees or promises with respect to the smart contracts, which they wrote. And they're not responsible for losses due to blockchains or other features of the network or the wallet, including to anything that's going wrong. Liability, they're not liable for anything, basically. And their total liability for anything possible that could come out of it is going to be $100, or the amount you actually paid to them on a 12-month period. Again, just basically trying to say, hey, we're not liable for anything. Here's some assumption of risk, prices fluctuate, all this stuff. They're not storing, sending, or receiving CryptoKitties. There's lots of risks using cryptocurrency and regulations and so on. Indemnification, you agree to indemnify Dapper in case you misuse the app and you got sued. External sites, they may have hyperlinks to other sites. They don't want to be responsible for any of those. They may make changes to the terms from time to time. They may make changes to the apps from time to time. You affirm you're over the age of 13. And if you're under the age of majority, you agree to review these terms with your parents or guardian. Privacy policy, basically they explain how they review and store and disclose your personal information under their privacy policy. And then they have an arbitration section in case something does go wrong. Before you can sue them, they ask you to arbitrate disputes. And they walk through that. And the place of arbitration will be Canada, where you're not allowed to use CryptoKitties. So, with respect to any dispute arising out of related terms, including limited disputes related to the app, the smart contracts, or any products are sold or distributed through the app, blah, blah, blah. You give up your right to a trial by jury, and you give up your right to participate as a member of a class action. The terms constitute the entire legal agreement between you and Dapper, blah, blah, blah. And all these terms will be governed by the laws of British Columbia and Canada and the federal laws of Canada applicable therein. So, all right. So that's a brief look at the terms and conditions for the most famous non-fungible token platform and the very first one, Cryptokitties. I want to thank you for listening to this brief crypto law presentation on the terms of use for Cryptokitties. Tune in next time when we'll have another presentation on the Understanding Crypto series by Thomas Plunkett.